welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week they have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney, James the Fat Man Stevens, and he's back, Brian Preston.
Yeah, eventually he came back.
Eventually.
So, yeah. Hold on. I got something. I want to say this just real quick because I thought this was funny. Prince Andrew, one of the, not Americans' princes, that unfortunately Prince is dead, but Prince Andrew, he's one of the England royalty, said he had a condition that made so he couldn't sweat. There is such a disease. It's anhidrosis. And it's anhidrosis. It is a disease that literally inhibits the ability to sweat normally. I didn't know that was an actual thing. I just thought that toothless bastard was making fun, was saying bullshit. I just wanted to say, hey, there is actually a disease that stops you from sweating.
You didn't know about that?
No, I've never heard of it.
Really?
And it's mild anhidrosis, and I'm probably saying that wrong.
I can't pronounce it.
If I'm saying it, you probably should just assume it. Unless it's apparently certain German words.
9.
So, can be difficult to diagnose in mild forms, often goes unrecognized. Dozens of factors cause this condition, including skin trauma, certain diseases, medications, and you can inherit it or to develop it later in life. So here's the symptoms. Little or no perspiration, dizziness, muscle cramps, flushing, feeling hot, which is any time I exercise, a lack of, and what basically your body shuts down when it gets too hot.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. I just want to say it off the top of my head because it's not really worth continuing the discussion, but it is something that I was like, whoa, this is real. And got to make fun of English royalty.
Yeah, I'm always interested in knowing the random diseases that are. I mean, I don't even know if I would call that a disease, maybe a disorder. You know, like, hey, this is unusual.
And
as long as you don't die. And
the best thing about this is I was looking it up, and it wasn't me worrying about anything because anytime I look up my symptoms, it's either cancer, I'm diabetic, or I'm having a baby. Which is literally 9 out of 10 times of me looking stuff up. Oh, I have this symptom, and this symptom. Those things come up.
Well, you just made me think of a TV show, but I'm going to bring this up in just a second because I actually thought this show was kind of cool, but we have something that we've been waiting 2 weeks for.
Okay.
And can you guess what it is, Ryan?
A card?
No, 2 weeks.
I'm waiting for you to discuss atheist morality.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I called you.
No, you didn't call us. This is from like 2 weeks ago.
You know, because you bailed on us before.
I know that, but I forgot I called you. No, I talked to Charney. Never mind.
Yeah. You texted me.
You want to know why you called me? You knew I would answer the damn phone. The President of the United States is easier to get a hold of than James.
James generally answers when I call him. I mean, I don't call him very often, so maybe it's more of a novelty.
That's probably why he's like, holy crap. I wonder if something's wrong.
Yeah. Anyways, so Ryan, you were going to educate us on atheist morality. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
By the way, there's a great way to enter a conversation. Ryan, why don't you just show us and I'll belittle you for everything you just said. That's you're hitting 1,000 there.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's start with what specific question do you want me to answer?
Well, how would they have any morals?
So
how do you?
Well, there are certain things that I don't agree with people on, but for the most part, I mean, what?
Certain things?
I mean, morals. You know what I mean? Like
but he's asking for just basic morals. So I mean, like stealing.
Like why you don't kill people or steal or rape or pillage or conquer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just start
why
there.
You're decent. Why you're decent to people.
Yeah. Why you're decent to people.
I know it's a relevant thing when we're talking about today. Yeah.
But because, basically my parents taught me logic. So if I look at something like, I don't want it done to me, I'm not going to do it to somebody else. Like, let's just say, like,
okay,
like going out and cheating on somebody, or killing somebody. Well, there are certain cases where I think that killing is appropriate when somebody says that society has no holding or society stands in no way of their conscience, so they will actually go and kill people. Let's say like serial killers, for example.
To defend your life, your family's life, or the life of others.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. So, when somebody says, okay, that's just doesn't matter to me, I'm going to go out and, basically, let's use one of the worst ones ever known in American society, BTK, bind, torture, kill. This guy would go into a family's house, bind them, torture them, and kill them. And usually he killed the girl last after he had her watch him do everything to her family, and then he would kill her. So, there's things like that. Like a certain guy, he can die.
Let me ask you this then. Would you say that you got your morality from religion?
I would say if I took religion out of it, let's say that we're just going with basics on that. If I took religion completely out of that.
Going with that.
Yeah, I do get where you're going with that. I learned it from my parents. And through that, they taught me logic. Now, that could go with the same way with an atheist, but where do my parents get that?
I mean, do you think it's
well, hold on.
Right. I mean, presumably from their parents.
But where did that actually come from? My dad grew up Christian. My mom grew up Catholic, basically Christian as well.
Okay. I'm just trying to establish not necessarily the origins, but that
that's where I'm gonna get you. But that's where I'm gonna get you. Do you see it? You see it all the way down the road. That's where I'm going to get you, is on the fact that at some point in history, these societal moralities, logic or whatever, came from somebody's Christian, Judaist.
I disagree.
Any of that from that type of influence in their being.
I would postulate that it existed far longer than any religion has.
So let's say it came from Mesopotamia. Cradle of civilization.
I'm saying it's an evolutionary imperative.
So how would you come up with that?
Well, they've literally evolved.
But how would you say that happened? Because at some point, how did social norms evolve? How did coalescing from tribal nature to chieftain states to civilized societies and cities evolve? Well, every single one of those,
naturally over time.
Every single one of those that you just brought up had some type of religious, spiritual influence in the society that they were in. This can be Native American, can be African, this can be Eastern European, or even the Middle East. All of those had some type of religious oversight at some point, where you would be killed if you didn't obey it.
Would you agree that the early, let's say, proto-religions, or the smaller ones that you can kind of still find, sort of the we pray to the sun god so the sun comes up in the morning.
Well, but even still.
Would you say that those were just an explanation for the natural phenomenon that was happening? And it was just people just telling stories? Would you agree with that?
It could be people just telling stories, but even still, like if you even say, oh, I need to pray to the sun god for the sun to rise, well, you're doing something to appease your god. And that's going to teach you some type of basic morality and logic. Because that's their logic. If they don't pray, the sun don't come up.
Right, but that's not them rationalizing. Well, one, they're not necessarily rationalizing morality. Morality is going to evolve just on its own, selfish altruism, you can call it, and then that gives way to, like other benefits of being decent.
So,
and it's not like we're all incapable of terrible things. Of course we are. I'm just saying that the morality that evolved sort of separate from religion or prior to religion, and then religion came along as a later codification of those rules.
Here's where I think,
pretty much what happened.
Here's where I think you're wrong, Because if you take a look at every disaster in human history, those morals go out the road, go on the way. You have people looting, shooting, stealing, robbing. If morals and morality was really inherent in man, none of that would have really happened. I think Nietzsche was closer to being right on this.
You can't say that religion is independent of that.
What I'm saying,
that horrible things have happened in the name of religion. And
I will not disagree with that.
Supposedly have been taught to people. I really don't even need to go into an example.
What I think
what has been
you're
done
missing
in the name of religion is equally as horrible as anything that has been done without it.
What you're missing is the fact I'm saying is there's no standard by any man, especially internal standard by man, that would create any sort of morals, because
social pressure.
No. Because if I'm stronger, bigger, and badder than you are, my social pressure is to oppress you because I'm bigger, badder, and better. Social pressure does not matter.
But that's the thing, is that doesn't actually pan out in the long run, as far as like any anthropological study will show you. You know, going back obviously to the sort of prehistory man, it's way more beneficial to be part of a society or part of a group. You know what I mean? You have, I can't remember the guy's fucking name. It's not the Dunning-Kruger number. It's something else. In any case, the study, the number of studies that would go into the 150 sort of magic numbers. It's the amount of like personal relationships that you can really kind of keep together in your head. You know, what your immediate family or friends would amount to these days. But that's sort of the magic number for what a person is able to kind of exist in. You know, and feeling like part of the group and having that, again, social pressure to act in the nature of the group, because that's in your best interest also. You know, it's much easier for me to trade with you than it is for me to worry about you killing me because I killed your brother last week because I stole his shit.
Until it's convenient.
You know, I'd rather not be looking over my shoulder. But when is it convenient to just kind of go along with the group and say, no, this is the best operating procedure?
Human nature, hold on. Let me answer a little bit, and let James answer a little bit before he continues. The fact that, in my opinion, human nature dictates as soon as there's something I want that you have that I can't get, I take. And that may cost you your life.
Okay, so hang on.
You know, that makes you a dick if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Okay,
and religion or those sorts of things are the only thing that's holding you back from that. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of shitty.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
That's holding you back from stealing all my shit. Other than, I mean, I hope they would have just been friends.
So, but I got a question for you, Ryan. Do you like Sublime?
Do I like Sublime, the band?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think they're pieces of shit?
Oh, like as people?
No, I just mean in general. Do you think that the people that were in the band are pieces of shit?
I don't know if I'd go so far as to say pieces of shit, but you know.
Okay, so let's just say, for example, in the Watts riots, when they decided to break out and start looting and ransacking people in their own community, who they were trying to, defend, but they went around and started stealing people's shit. Do you think that the people that were doing that, all of them were pieces of shit?
So, okay.
I'm coming to a point here. So yes or no?
Okay, no.
Okay. So then let's think about Sublime.
Yes, no.
So in the LA riots,
yes.
He said that he sold the guitar that he's playing in that song. Right? So he was part of the riots. So, I'm taking him at his word that he actually stole it during the LA riots. Now, but what caused them to do that? So if we take a step back and look at it, as we saw during the LA riots, people just started randomly doing that shit, right? So who started it? Is there any one person that is to blame? Now, this is one of the court proceedings back then.
The mob mentality?
Yeah, so mob mentality throws most of the morals out of the window, right?
Right.
So you're saying that there's ingrained morality in people. So what at that point now?
I'm saying,
now this.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me retract. I'm saying there's as much ingrained morality in people, and there is in any Christian or Muslim or Hindu or anybody else.
John wants to say something. I have a response to this as well.
I'm not trying. I would never try to argue any point that would even suggest that like atheists or non-theists would be more moral than anybody else.
No, I'm not arguing that, but I'm going to come back to this.
I would say the one thing now, no matter what religion you believe is true, I happen to be a Christian, so just to state my bias, I would say the one thing religion gives you is it gives you a higher morality in the sense of you have something outside of yourself that shows what the standard should be. It's like looking at the flag of the United States, and it's like, these are the virtues that we who are under this flag believe. And in theory, hold on.
Those morals would hold up to the test of time instead of be outdated as they are.
I think
like there's some pretty shitty things that the Bible justifies morally.
Yeah, the problem, one of the big issues is a lot of the people who use that shitty justification are using the justification wrongly. They're not looking at it right. And I would say that that's an issue with them. But what I'm saying is a lot of people like far as toward religion because it's a standard that's outside of themselves. It's an external standard, not an internal standard. That's the only thing I want to point out far as religion, because internal morals can change. In theory, unless you're one of these modern day so-called, one of these modern day hippy-dippy religions, the Bible's pretty stern on what it believes is moral. It hasn't changed.
Okay. So, but
okay. What about the? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I was really gonna come back to, in a sense, is this. So, when I think of an atheist, what I personally believe that what a real atheist believes is that you're born and the effects of your life in the time that you're given is all the time you have. Mm-hmm. Once that is over, there is nothingness after. Now, what I also believe that a true atheist believes, but the definition of an atheist is really what I'm coming to. Of what an atheist
Can I amend
is.
For a second?
Okay.
Not that the belief is that there is nothing, that the belief really is there is no belief. Like I have no idea what happens afterwards.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But
now,
that's more of an agnostic.
You muted yourself.
That's more of an agnostic view than an atheist view.
But I'm gonna give it to him. But
okay. This is why I don't like the term atheist.
I don't like the term atheist either. That's why, like, when people say I'm an atheist, I'm like, you don't know what you just said to me, right?
I mean, well, it just has a lot of fucking baggage that people sort of like. The likeliest of scenarios, probabilistically. I just made up a word.
You sure did.
But the probability is that there is nothing. That it's just there's just nothing. Like before you were born, kind of nothing.
Yeah.
So, which is hard to imagine. I grant you. I cannot imagine nothing.
So, but the other thing is that when I look at the term atheist, is that it's not necessarily that they don't believe that there is no right or wrong. There is right and wrong, but those are governed and dictated by societal standards. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, and I think
depending on where you live,
by most people. See, this is the part of the thing that I was saying earlier, and I've said it before. I've raped and killed everybody that I've ever wanted to, which is precisely zero fucking people. You know what I mean? Like that's not what holding me back. There's nothing that's holding me back from not wanting to steal your shit other than I like you.
Yeah.
And there's no immediate incentive for me to do so. Like the incentive for me is to again, in a Mad Max kind of world, not have to worry about you or your band of people coming after my shit.
Yeah.
So how do we be cool?
Okay. So, but But also, what I was going to bring up as well is that Ryan's not wrong that religion has caused some of the worst atrocities in human existence. And that's just not limited to or anything by Christians, Catholics, Muslims, Jews. Even Jews did a few things with Palestinians, if you really want to get into history. But, I mean, that's just all-encompassing of all religions.
I mean,
there was some
atrocities again. Even it's not even just the organized modern day religion. This is time immemorial.
And I'll even bring in the old Nordic religions as well, if you want to throw those in as well.
Oh, I mean, even way before then.
Yeah, but now the thing is that if we just go look at the Bible, I mean, one of my favorite quotes from The Simpsons is, technically, you're not even supposed to go to the bathroom, and he's referring to the Bible. Reverend Lovejoy. For John, who doesn't know, Ryan should know where that quote came from. Anyways, but, technically,
I heard his voice when you said it.
Yeah, you could look at the Old Testament, and you could read through the Old Testament. I mean, there are some really outlandish laws. And the funny thing is that the Jews who were abiding by these Old Testament laws came up with thousands of loopholes to them. So, I mean, there's things that you got to bring into that as well. So, but when I'm looking at atheists, like I said, is that when I look at a true atheist, they really don't need to, if they really are truly believing in an atheist way, they're basically going to take societal's laws, whatever society they're living in. It could be Russia, China, whatever. And those are the laws that they would use as basically a moral compass. And what I'm saying is that all of those societal laws that whatever atheist is following in whatever country they're in had some basis in religion. That could be Buddhist, that could be Muslim, that could be Catholic, that could be Protestant, any of them.
One too. But
and that's what I'm saying is that all of these moral compasses that these atheists are following have some basis in a religion. Now, that atheist doesn't necessarily need to believe in it.
That don't.
Well, what? Sorry.
And okay, but here's the point: is regardless of where look, I'm not saying religion was always going to sort of evolve the way that it did as well. You know what I mean? That's not like some unnatural phenomenon. So these things sort of came in together. Again, religion was the one that sort of codified these ideas into the sort of standards. You know what I mean? But that being passed down it doesn't have to require anything supernatural in order to follow those as a moral principle, or to have evolved to follow those as a moral principle. That's all I'm saying is that they can operate independently.
Okay, I could see that. So that's kind of where I'm saying, like,
I wasn't raised to be a dick either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's where we could go back to the point of saying that it's basically nurture versus nature, and I'm saying that it's all nurture, not nature. I mean, that's what I'm kind of saying.
A violent person who's a Christian, and I'll show you a violent Christian.
Yeah.
You find me a nice person who's an atheist, and I'll show you a nice person.
Yeah.
It always goes both ways. People can use religion to justify all kinds of personal behavior, and then the classic deathbed repenting.
I would say that your outlook, in my opinion, also depends on your outlook as far as if you believe there's good in people, and I come from the point of view of the fact that people are evil trying to do good, and you more from they're good people who do evil.
Yeah, no, I believe that people are inherently good, and they're not inherently anything. They're inherently people. Equal parts good and bad. I don't necessarily believe in an outside force of evil, so that's a different subject. So and look, I didn't necessarily need to bring all this up to start, necessarily a religious debate.
No,
because I don't want to seem like
I mean,
just going to bash everything.
I mean, that's what this show's about. But I mean, I think your opinion, in my opinion, comes from the fact that I don't really believe there's such a thing as a good person. I think there's bad people who are trying to do good. Your opinion, at least from what I've heard, seems like there's good people who just happen to do bad, or it starts out. That's
there's
the
people
foundation.
who make good decisions or bad decisions, and have the consequences of either one, or look, I mean, we're talking sort of the butterfly effect of 7 billion people's lives sort of all interacting with each other in a cosmic kind of fucking way.
Yeah.
People are going to have, 1,000 moral decisions to make every day, and we all kind of do the best we can with the people that are around us, the folks that sort of hold us accountable in one way or another. And, I mean, look, I agree that religion has played a huge part in, the forming of societies and definitely played its part. I think it could have happened with the stories being very interchangeable, as far as what it does to bring together a community has necessarily nothing to do with the story that's being told, which is why it can do the same thing for different religions all over the world, all these people coming together under this banner of what they believe in and, common goals and those sorts of things.
Yeah, but the whole...
And, for most people, like enjoying society and the benefits that it has, and there's always people that fuck the system, religious or otherwise. So, yeah.
So I think this is a great discussion to bring into. So have either of you watched the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats?
No. I don't have time.
I've had so many people tell me about this the last few days. No, I don't want to watch this dude fucking kill cats.
So
documentary.
I don't have time to watch
it.
I don't have time to watch TV.
The interesting thing is that it's not just some dude, killing cats, which he does. Now, I watched this thing and I had never heard of this guy. I didn't even hear about the whole news break. I assume because I didn't watch network television. But back in 2010, this dude literally posted on the web him killing 2 kittens. And then posted another video of him playing with these dead kittens. And then posted another video of him basically feeding a cat to an anaconda. And then posted a 4th video where he stabbed a guy to death with basically an ice pick that he turned into an ice pick from being a screwdriver.
He legitimately killed someone?
Yes, legitimately killed somebody.
Wow.
And this all happened in, I think it was, I think it was about, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go. Let's see. About 2 years' time. So this was 2010, 2012 that this guy was doing this. And so after they really track this guy down and find his story out, he basically decided that his life was going to be a movie. And that's what he was playing out. And he basically wanted himself to be from Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone. So
I don't want to see the dress. I don't want to see that.
He didn't do any of that type of stuff, but it really just makes me kind of trip out, like, back to the whole nature versus nurture shit, is that, I mean, the guy's mom still believes that the guy's innocent and was being controlled by some made-up man that he was being abused by who made him do all this stuff.
The Slender Man.
And so if you...
The dog from Son of Sam.
Yeah. Well, he was saying it was, I can't remember. I can't remember the guy's name from the documentary or whatever the hell it is.
No, it's not worth. His name's not worth bringing up.
No, I wasn't talking about the actual guy who did it. I'm not saying his name. He's a piece of shit. Anyways, so I know the guy's name, but he's a piece of shit. Anyways, but I was trying to remember the name that he was.
I agree with
saying.
that. By the way, I love the idea of like, hey, let's stop fucking telling people these names.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if
we're gonna make up some other name,
Yeah, piece of shit. Anyways, but the thing is I was really tripped out by the fact that there was like a lady in Arizona who saw the video who spent like, I think it was 2 years tracking this guy down, trying to get the cops to arrest his ass, and he literally fled through multiple countries trying to get away from this chick. And another guy that she was with who teamed up with her, and then like a biker gang guys who who are animal rights activists. And I'm like, I really wish those guys had found his ass, like handed him back over broken to the police. Here you go. You can have him now. But now the thing is just, it really trips me out that somehow this guy decided that his life he was just going to basically come up with this whole persona of who he was and then play it out like a movie where he's the serial killer guy. And his mom said that he was really into a lot of movies. I guess one of his favorite ones was, surprise, surprise, American Psycho, Basic Instinct, and then the old black and whites. But it's just one of those, like, where was this guy's morality? Does he actually believe in anything other than himself, And, his mom seemed like a decent chick. I mean, quite a bit delusional.
That's why, psychopaths, I can't count psychopaths on either side of that sort of an argument, Like that's just some people suck. What can you say,
Yeah, but it just really trips me out that the guy just all of a sudden decided that he was just going to go ahead and kill these kittens and then just go on a straight out rampage. And then I guess he posted something like a couple years before he started all this stuff, like how to disappear. But he got caught basically in an internet cafe in Germany because he wanted to go and look at what's going on with this case. And the guy at the internet cafe recognized that this guy kind of looks like the one that Interpol's after. And then the German SWAT team showed up and arrested his ass. But I mean, it's a pretty interesting documentary. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely one of those. They don't show the whole videos of him actually killing the animals or the guy, but it's still one of those that it just makes you want to beat the dude.
I was.
John's completely quiet on it.
No, I was, going to say, what Keanu Reeves said, in the movie Constantine, cats are halfway in.
Okay. I was going to say, shoot the hostage.
I mean. Yeah, I don't see this, and personally, in my opinion, this would geared towards the fact that there's no such thing as a good person.
Yeah, but I mean, there's got to be something that, a lot of the times when they look at psychopaths or, full-on actual serial killers, part of their brain doesn't function is one of the things that they say. But I think there's just like a disassociativeness in their mind that they justify it somehow. And that's what it kind of seems like is what's going on with this guy. I wouldn't say that he's like missing, like part of his brain, his medulla oblongata isn't working. Yeah, I did just waterboy you both. Anyways.
That's why I ignored it.
I know, and that's why I brought attention to it. Anyways, so, but I would just say that there's obviously something in his brain that is disassociated himself from right and wrong.
Or at least not what's right and wrong, but what's legal or not legal.
I don't think he gave a shit about what's legal and not legal, obviously.
Yeah. No,
I mean, there was even a part where they said that he was a male escort. So, I mean, he's prostituting himself out. So, obviously, there's no right and wrong in his brain.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. Well, like I said, the idea of the do unto others, the golden rule, that would exist if nobody ever told anybody about religion and you just put 20 people together. It's like, hey, man, look, you don't fucking punch me in the face. I won't punch you in the face. You don't steal my shit. I don't steal your shit.
Yeah.
Let's chill. Let's get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and every other thing sort of becomes just a further definition of that basic principle. So, and again, with a big enough society, some people are going to go against the grain. You know what I mean? There's going to be people that fall through the cracks, feel marginalized for one reason or another, or have some crazy mental and disability. And, that's got to just figure that for the fringes. But, most people are just trying to do the best they can, every chance they get for the most part.
Yeah, I would say that, the majority of society, I would say, yeah. But
yeah, the basics of morality, even if they didn't coach it in an ethics lesson, as far as like, hey, be nice to your neighbor. This is how to treat people. This is, all those things. And that was always done in a very secular, sort of way. I get what you're saying as far as the basis of these things being, at least as far as recent history, very, very much religious based. But again, just kind of operating independently as how would you write? You know what I mean? Like I say that so often nowadays. Usually I just get pissed off and like curse at people, like driving in the car. Now anytime I see somebody do something just really shitty, just all I'm thinking in my head is who raised you? Man, that's really what it comes down to. Is like who put up with this shit from you? Who's around you? What the
but
fuck?
the only thing I can say about that is I've known plenty of people who parents were really good people, did the best they can, and the guy or the girl just turned out to be a really bad seed. I've met plenty of people who parents literally did everything they could, and the kid was just a piece of shit. I've known a couple of them.
Yeah, but I would think about this. It's like, yeah, the parents did the best they could, but did they really did they spoil them, or did what? See, I don't know. See,
you could raise a kid and do everything right. The kid will still turn out fucking sideways. It's like sheep. And this is going to sound weird, but sheep are down and determined to kill themselves. They're one of God's dumbest creatures. You could do everything right. Well, the fucking sheep will still drown.
For the record, they're dumb because we bred them that way.
But no, but my point is the fact that you can do everything.
Fucking inbred sheep.
My point is, Charles, that you can do everything you can do, and some things are still out of your control. It's not necessarily.
Well, yeah, it's not nature versus nurture. It's kind of a 50-50 as far as I would look at it.
All I'm saying is,
outside influence is always going to be pretty heavy. Just so many shitty fucking friends. How many people have you seen get fucked up because they have shitty?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Not a lot, but most of my friends were probably better to me than I deserved. That's, but I just
and also, no parent in the history of mankind has ever really done everything correct. You know what I'm saying? You're either too overbearing or not bearing enough. They're too harsh or not harsh. That no one's ever walked that fine of a line. About some like prep school or some shit.
Well, it's a moment to moment thing. It's not a day to day. It's literally incident by incident. You can, and
you never know what's going to stick.
Oh no, 100%. And the only thing you can do is try to have your kid around the best influences.
Yeah.
If you have a family member who's, say if you have a daughter and you have a family member who's super sexist and hates women, that's going to affect the way she views things. If you grow up without a father or a dad, a mom, there's a lot of things that can affect it. It's 100% moment by moment. And, and you never know also how kids are going to react. Some kids you have to bark at a little so they get attention. So they can walk the line enough to know, hey, you're going to hurt yourself if you don't listen. And, other kids, you can go, hey, got to stop that. And they listen. It's 100% case by case, minute by minute. And, you're always going to have regrets. My parents have regrets. I have regrets. I'm pretty sure James has regrets.
Yeah, of course. It's, that's always going to be the case, and you just, obviously you hope to do the best you can, and that's all you can do. Fucking being there and love. That's, beyond that, it's whatever spin you kind of want to throw on it.
The only thing I could say, that the one thing is be there for your kids. And this is the one thing I hate about modern life, is we're just so fucking busy, is it's the little things that matter. I guarantee, at some point in time, your kid's going to remember, hey, Daddy used to chase me around the house and tickle me. I mean, something sticks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're little machines just soaking up literally everything, there and not there, and all of that. It's nutty. I don't have kids, but shit, my niece and nephew were.
Oh, you'll have kids before you know it. Jenga's not always going to work for you.
Oh, I'm sure.
He probably. I'd be surprised if you don't have multiple kids right now that you don't know of.
Jenga?
Yeah, no kidding.
I was hoping I was
weird.
I was hoping he was going to respond. That's why I was just waiting for him.
I don't think he knows that's your dog.
That wasn't about a dog. It was just playing games, trying not to knock over the blocks.
Gotcha.
There was a connection. I was just hoping he was going to make it, so I didn't have to explain it.
Okay.
And you went one way, and I was at the other. I mean, you fucking pervert. You're talking about fucking my dog now.
That's Ryan. You gave him your dog.
You're gross, dude.
Dude, I have no idea what the hell he's going on about.
I don't even know what's happening.
Lay off my poor puppy.
I don't want anything to do with your puppy. Oh, shoot. I think I just closed that one. So, hang on. I'm trying to...
Oh, so while James is doing that, I posted a couple of my favorite... I have an archive of video games. I haven't thrown out or sold a whole lot of video games in my life. So I see if Brian remembers any of these. I don't know if James would. Ever heard of a game called Descent?
Yes.
Descent?
Descent. It's Descent. And there were 3 of them by Interplay.
Yeah, no, just the movie.
So Descent was a video game where you flew like a spaceship. I actually wasn't ever clear what the fuck it was, but it was like an airplane. It was 360 combat back in the day. I was very vicious this game, so much so I had a deputy district attorney drive to my house and flip me off for it. My favorite story. Yeah. We were playing back in the day when it was dial up, so it was like 56K, 48.4, something like that. And I was incredibly brutal. So at the time when I was flying my plane, flying the plane with the joystick, I was also typing at the same time. So I was being a complete dick to him. It also helped I knew the map, which, by the way, is the key to any really good player. Hexen by ID Software.
It sounds familiar.
There's 2 of them.
That does sound familiar.
So the main graphic... The second one probably has the craziest graphic I've ever seen. I'm actually surprised I was ever allowed to buy it or play it just by the main character. I'll look on my Instagram, Ryan. I'll send you a picture. But basically, it has a little devil guy with his tongue out, and it's his tail's like wrapped around him. And for the second one, it's actually looks like a heavy metal cover. And my all-time favorite game that they're actually trying to make a new one of is System Shock 2. Ever heard of the character Shodan?
No.
Oh, wow. Because that's what the main character's from. There's a search engine called that. Check out the game. It's pretty cool. I was hoping that would eat up enough time talking about something stupid for...
Yeah. So,
Well, you fucking failed.
Yeah.
I can always talk about my new favorite drink recipe.
So, John, you're kind of local. Anyways, so what do you think? Do you think Sacramento has a new serial killer? Have you heard of what's going on in Sacramento right now?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so in Sacramento County and close to the city, there were 2 bodies found along the American River in less than 12 hours.
One was a kid that's been missing for a long time.
Yeah,
and one was a female.
New Year's, yeah. There was a kid who went, a 25-year-old kid who went missing right around New Year's Eve. They identified his as the first body, and the second body is yet to be identified. But this is all in a span of 12 hours. They found this along the American River.
It could... sometimes I have a hard time with combining 2 things that happen with a short period of times because it could be completely by...
It could be happenstance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more willing to bet that
Then another Dorothy Fuentes.
Yeah, I just
was one of the most famous ones in Sacramento.
Somebody killed 2 people, and then drove them to 2 different locations, and then it could be isolated with still one person.
I guess, I mean, I'm kind of wondering where the connection is. I mean, did they know each other, or was it just 2 random strangers? I'd be really curious to see if they release anything about how they were killed. If they release anything.
Yeah, were there trophies?
Yeah, I mean, was it like a gunshot wound? Was it they choked to death? Because usually they announce something, but they never give everything. So I'm kind of curious on that because I actually read about that this morning.
Yeah,
that actually kind of surprised me. I don't know. I would be surprised, but you never know with people these days.
Yeah, but I mean that's just now it's one of those. Where, I mean, it could be that his dump site's discovered type thing. But as you said, I mean...
It's too much coincidence.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's like, I'm wondering if they're going to find another body. Could be yes or no, but,
if they find another body, then I'm more willing to bet, okay, something suspicious here because...
But 2 in 12 hours is really quick, though.
Sacramento's pretty big. Were they found next to each other? Like how?
I know, just along the American River. They didn't really go into location details.
American River's pretty big, so that's the problem.
But you got to think about this, though. If they're on the American River, they find a body, right? They're gonna do a perimeter search. They're gonna search both sides of the riverbank, looking for anything that the killer or, victim left behind that could leave them any type of clues. So during this section of them doing that, they find another body.
Now, I guess my question is how close? Because I'm assuming it'll be from one end to the other. Was it like 400 or 500 yards? Or
I don't know. And that's where it's kind of like up in the air. And I'm like, And not necessarily does a serial killer have to kill the same way twice. There are some that don't, and there are some that do. Quite a few do, but there are some that don't. I don't know. It's just kind of a trip that it's, they find 2 in a 12-hour period. And I don't know if it was, I don't know if the announcement was within 12 hours or the discovery was within 12 hours.
My first couple of thoughts
is... Did they go missing like at the same time or?
They haven't identified the second one, so we don't know. They could have gone missing same time type thing. You never know.
So my question is,
Sacramento's pretty big.
My question is, how far apart did they actually die? If they can actually get a legitimate number, or a relative time, because were they in the water? There's a lot of things that lead up to that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I watched CSI, entire way through. I know exactly how that works. The other question is how far...
We apologize to any actual CSI out there.
The other...
Don't assault John badly.
Hell, they
what
should...
if it was 2 killers? They both show up at the same spot with a body and like, oh shit, now I'm sorry, I didn't know somebody was already here.
Hey, Bob!
I'll fuck off down the river.
Hey, Bob, how's it going? Oh, you used a gun? I used a knife on this one. I'm kind of curious. There's a couple of questions. I think it's just coincidence, but if it was a serial killer, I'd be super surprised. Well, and I'm also surprised if it was even remotely suspected that they wouldn't say, hey, just, be careful. The typical stuff that they...
I haven't seen anything that they have, but I mean,
it'd be all over social media. If there's even remotely suspected.
Like I'm on social media.
I would have seen it.
Okay. Anyways,
I would be bringing it to you. If I had noticed it, I would have said, hey, tell your friends.
Well, the other thing I wanted to bring up as well, and this is why I'm kind of saying it's speculative if it's a serial killer, but there's a lot of homeless people that camp along the American River and the Sacramento River, which are very close to each other. It could be one of them that just, died, OD'd, or, pissed off the bum that you don't want to piss off.
If it is a serial killer, I bet they're homeless.
It could be.
I can totally see that because there's so many homeless nowadays around the area that I guarantee.
And a lot of them camp by the river.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's a homeless serial killer. I'm just saying that there's a lot of homeless there, and it could be a homeless person that OD'd.
Would be who was it? There was a killer, and I don't remember his name, who used to ride the rails a lot. So they would find
Carl Panzram.
It was another guy. It was more in modern times. But
there was another one in locally that was going up and down. He was like a Mexican.
That guy. They were riding
migrant worker. Yeah,
and he was riding the rails, and they were catching, killing people. So
yeah, there's that guy too. So I don't remember his name either.
I don't know. I would just be shocked, especially considering the fact Sacramento, the law enforcement isn't even remotely saying, "Hey, we're suspect." They would do something.
You never know, but I mean, like we said, it's literally within a day. They probably did say something in a press release of, "Hey, be a little bit careful," But I mean, they're not going to release anything this early if they suspect a serial killer.
Yeah, if it was,
no need to cause panic.
Well, I was thinking if it was something that was immediately obvious, I think they would say something about, hey, hey, just as always, be careful, yada yada yada. But I haven't paid attention too much to it.
I don't know. I'm definitely smelling the conspiracy here.
You and Joe Rogan. So I talked about my new favorite drink, so I'm just going to talk about it, just because everybody thinks I'm an alcoholic. So why not just continue the trend? So it's 2 ounces of bourbon, it's half an ounce or 1 ounce of simple syrup, 1 ounce of triple sec, 3 dashes of Angostura orange bitters, 3 dashes of Angostura bitters, top off with soda water. That's my new favorite drink. Very orangey. And then take off the
bitter.
And then take off the peel using a
zester?
A zester or something, and then express the oil, stick it in there.
Or
it's
a
really
cheese
good.
grater if you don't have a zester. Don't feel like you got to get fancy.
I actually used
if you're
a
trying to express the oil, as John just said, you don't want to use a cheese grater. You are more likely to get a better result if you use a small paring knife and skin the.
Yeah, I've been using a peeler, which is
if your knife skills are good, grab a paring knife.
Yeah, and cut yourself so you learn.
That's right.
But it's funny, like orange bitters.
Good food is made with love and blood.
Orange bitters for a while was really hard to find, and I don't know why, because now I see it everywhere. It's pretty hilarious.
Hey, just don't worry about the Hep B.
Hipsters, bro. You don't think hipsters can bring back bitters?
I'm not Tommy Lee, so I'm not worried about the. I don't know Tommy Lee, so I'm not worried about the hepatitis. And bitters. I just think it was the stores I was going to. It was one of those things that I think I was hitting at the right time. Mixology is like making drinks is back in, I've noticed. So it's pretty funny what I've found. What's that?
Hipsters. It's the reason that all this cool old shit is back is because of hipsters.
That's funny because I got into it just because I'm really into what flavors I can bring out of things. I find it fascinating, like doing this or doing that. It's like with coffee. I find like if you cook the water up to a certain temperature, it brings out these flavors. I find stuff like that fascinating. So it's just me being a geek.
Yeah, that's what I kind of find funny.
Yeah, no shit. I love shit like that too. I started French pressing recently.
I want to get one.
I remember one point this hipster looked at me and goes, "Oh, hey, you're doing No Shave November." I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that is. I'm just lazy. I'm like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I didn't even know that was a thing until this person looked at me and goes, "Hey,
this is an actual hillbilly beard. I don't have a razor."
No, it was just like, I am lazy and don't feel like shaving all the time.
I actually had somebody ask me that last November, and I was like, where? It's not like I shaved my legs, pal.
Yeah, I'm just like, you just remember them saying that to me, and I'm like, that's actually a thing? And then I found out it was a thing, and I'm like, how does this shit get spread? Like,
it's a PR, it's a marketing.
For not shaving?
Well,
it's got to be because of all the beard parts. Because having a beard is in, and so you can get beard balms
oils,
and creams and oils and combs and there's even glitter stuff I've seen.
It's so it's the new Valentine's Day,
I guess. It's got to be a PR thing.
But I do got to go with Ryan on this one. It is pretty cool because when the hipsters get into some shit like this, it becomes more popular for people to actually make the soaps for shaving, which I really enjoy the soaps. That shit lasts forever. Like, when was the last time we had the condo? How long ago? 10 years?
Maybe, or not more.
If not more. So I found this thing on eBay at that time where this person was selling bulk shave soaps. And so you
don't still have that shit.
I do. I still have 3 or 4. No, I still have 3 or 4 of them.
Wow.
from buying that back then because of how well they last and how long they're. I mean, and how many shaves you can get out of it.
And I got a fucking shaving soap for a long time. Granted, I haven't shaved with that in a little while, but
and you call me cheap for never using the fucking heater.
But I'm just like, dude, like that was like a fantastic buy on my part from back then. Like,
no kidding.
So,
there's nothing like a fucking a badger fucking hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hot fucking shave.
Yeah.
It's the dude equivalent of the fucking like a nail salon.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I was going to bring up is when hipsters got into records, old school records. That they brought that shit back. And then now hipsters are, getting into, now it's been quite a lot longer than John has been doing it, but they're getting into those old fashioned drinks and making it their mixology, as John pointed out.
How easy it was for me to find mustache wax?
Oh yeah, I guarantee that's freaking easy.
So the only thing I would challenge you is the fact that I don't like the term hipster because some of it just may be enthusiasts. Like I'm like, for example, I'm a geek. Yeah. I'm a geek. I've always been a geek, and I've always been into anime. And a lot of people, so you could probably say, okay, this guy is a hipster into that. Not exactly an anime, but you get my point. So what I'm saying is somebody who's just always been into it, or
it's the new nerd.
Yeah.
Or geek.
Yeah, except, it took 30 years for everybody to catch up my level of OCD.
But
I just don't like the term hipster because I think it's a little unfair for somebody who just gets into minutia. Like I was watching some guy make coffee, like a coffee blog for a while. And the guy's like, okay, you got to heat up to 170 point something. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's like, I bet that coffee tastes amazing, but I don't have fucking time for that. And so I think that's awesome. I just think it's people who just get really into the minutia of details. Like for me, I end up liking sweeter drinks. Like a friend of ours actually made fun of the fact I like sweeter drinks. I made a joke about chick drinks and I said, oh yeah, about like a chick drink, like an old fashioned or something like that. She's like, how is that a chick drink? That's the joke.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I want to bring something up now. I'm trying to think of how long ago this was. Ryan might remember this. John was never really into that type of thing, but do you remember about 18 years ago, Ryan, when there was like trying to remember exactly what it was. It was more of like, not really like a smoking craze, but it was like a bunch of, like kind of the hipster or geek or nerd, as John prefers, that were into tobacco, like good tobacco. Not really the hookahs, but it was more like the pipe craze was coming back, like the old fashioned Sherlock Holmes pipes.
A little bit.
So
a little bit.
Now I kind of had fun with that because back at that time is you could go into basically any type of smoke shop and come up with some really interesting tobaccos. And I had a friend of mine who who's a totally hipster douchebag. And he took me with him to a couple of those places, and there was some really interesting tobaccos that were coming out that were pretty cool. But then all of a sudden it became back with the, smoking's not cool, and now everybody has douche flutes.
By the way, those Sherlock Holmes pipes are fucking ridiculously expensive. Oh my god,
crazy expensive.
I looked into getting a pipe just because I enjoy
have a Lord of the Rings fucking tobacco pipe.
Yeah,
because I enjoy smoking once. Like I'll smoke once a month, maybe. Which, by the way, according to my doctor and every doctor I've talked about, smoking once a month, literally once a month, doesn't really count as smoking. But what do they know? As far as I don't know. I just don't like the term hipster. I think it's unfair. However,
I agree. People get unfairly labeled as hipsters constantly.
I would say the people who are hipsters, who are people are doing it to look cool, that to me is a hipster. Somebody who's a legitimate enthusiast, you're not a hipster. You just happen to be in it. Yeah.
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 I legitimately
happen to be able to grow a full-blown Doc Holliday mustache.
Like I legitimately watch shows about making cocktails because not only do I find it fascinating, I enjoy the history of it.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah, I mean, and that's always something me and James have been pretty fucking eye to eye. I mean, just the way we like shit,
Yeah.
Is just like, hey, I like the process of this thing. I mean, it's the reason we like shooting or billiards or anything that requires like a process or a thing. Like, I'm a fan of the process.
Yeah,
100%. I love the process of making.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why James likes fucking cooking. It is just like, here's this thing, and it's equal parts like science and art.
Yeah,
and
I always thought James got into cooking because by the time he got home, his mother just told him to make something.
Nah, it was more like I actually had some fun messing around as a kid, and then after breaking my spine, it was kind of like, well, what am I going to do now? Because that was not my plan, was to have anything else to do other than you guys know. Anyways, but I guess, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I think for John, Ryan, and I, when we were like in a movie collecting, that was a really big thing.
Yeah.
And
I still do to some degree.
I'm very disappointed that some of the smaller companies, basically the mom and pop shops and like even Suncoast, which wasn't really like a small mom and pop, but it was still like a small businessly owned company that was putting out, you could find some really random ass DVDs there, and you can't do that anymore. You can do it online, but I think the fact of going,
the amount of fucking time we spent in a fucking video store.
But the thing that I miss about it is that even when you go into, and it was kind of like what John used to do as animes, is you'd go into a place like Suncoast, you go in there for your specific reason, whatever DVD you wanted to search for that day. And then as you wander and meander around the store, you're like, oh, I've been looking for this one, or what the hell is this? And you flip it over and you start reading about it. I mean, like Chrono Crusade. Like, I started buying Chrono Crusade because I randomly was like, I'll check out this first disc, and I like it. And then get backers.
There was a feeling of
discovery.
Video store, and this is a feeling that I'm chasing the dragon, bro.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. The feeling of I've seen everything. What else is there in this fucking store that I haven't seen? And you start walking into corners of a video store you really don't spend much time in.
Yeah,
and
next thing you know, you're into fucking anime or kung fu movies or some random B movie collection.
Chick hockey films.
I would have never seen promo movies.
Oh yeah.
If the weird ass fucking place I went to didn't have it, for one. It was just one of those things where I'm looking at the same fucking 1,000 movies that I've seen 100 times. Okay, what else is there? And you're kind of rolling from
the other thing is
that's a chromium.
I know shit.
The other thing is it's the employees. It's the people who understand your enthusiasm. Who you'd say, hey, I'm looking for a very obscure movie. It's this. And the guy will say, I don't have this, but I have this.
High fidelity fucking arguments you get into with that guy of how dare you like that. Kind of shit.
And then
the gatekeepers of pop culture.
Yeah, and then you always get that one guy who's there, and you're like, I've seen this, and you start talking to him, and then after a little while, he goes, hey, you want to see something really fucked up?
Yeah, exactly.
You always find that guy in the movie store, and then he'll point you to something that you've never seen before, and then you'll be like, okay.
Pull it out of his drawer like it was the Holy Grail and shit, and then you can see his fucking aura. The way they treat some of these things.
My favorite one is when the video store employee gets revenge, because I did this and I saw other people do this, was, you're a dick to the video store employee, and then next week, because that you did, it was somewhat appointment viewing. Next week, you came to get your movie, and you forgot the fact you treated said movie employee like a piece of shit. And the movie employee, being the gatekeeper of your entertainment this week, makes you, you walk up, say, I'm looking for a good horror movie. Oh, I know, you'll really love
Leprechaun in New York.
That movie's so fucking funny.
Or Leprechaun in Space.
What was it? Oh God, I forgot what it's called. But it's basically a movie about devolving. I don't remember what it is at the moment. But I picked that guy.
Idiocracy?
No. The guy, it's basically this guy. It does these meditation chambers. You know, you're floating on salt and.
I don't remember what that would.
I forgot it is because I've told people to watch it a couple of times and they all have the same reaction. And the guy said, "Man, you know that movie you recommended last week was really awful." And it's just like, you don't remember treating me this bad. And, you know, I saw other employees do it, and when I stopped working in that store, I'd walk in, you hear other people do it, and you're like, oh God, what did that person do? There's no way this person's willingly seeing that movie. Unless there's somebody like me and James and Ryan. Like, nobody seeks out Romeo and Juliet unless you're a fan of the genre.
Yeah.
Because they made the fucking
genre. I worked at Blockbuster for a while, which, for the record, the way that people talk about Blockbuster nowadays is hilarious to me, because back in the day, it was like blasphemy if you were a real movie fan to go to a fucking corporate Blockbuster. You know, that's where you went if you really had no other choice. You're like, I'm just going to get something generic.
No, what it is they really wanted to see fucking, oh God, what's that? The two Irish brothers? They go around killing.
Boondock Saints?
Yeah, if you want to see Boondock Saints, for a long time, that was the only place you could fucking see it, and rent it, was from Blockbuster.
Yeah, you know, they got some of the old stuff, you know, look, to be fair, they had a pretty damn good collection. They were a movie store.
Yeah.
But there, you couldn't find some of the real deep cuts or the, you know, the super nerd behind the counter like you could at the mom and pop joints.
Yeah.
Or the indifferent Asian man who didn't care that you were 12 years old and renting every R-rated movie in the place. You know? That had its uses also. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
The other thing I miss, I would say the other thing I miss is the ephemera. It was that random shit. Like the way James and I and everybody else I know who were into movies at the time, what we do is we'd go to Sacramento, go to a Best Buy, and we would scour that place because once in a while you'd find some stuff like that. The store in Sunrise actually had Faces of Death, which shocked the living shit out of me. And then if we didn't have what we want, we'd go to Suncoast. Now Suncoast was literally like 30 to 40% more expensive, but they were guaranteed to have it.
Because it's in a mall.
And then we'd look around, and I really miss that. I miss the journey. I miss the physicality of it. I miss going.
It was an appointment. It was you're off your ass out to a place where you were seeking your entertainment, not scouring at the computer screen when it's not exactly what you wanted to watch.
And the other thing I really miss is like being with the friends and like going, hey James, let's watch this. No, fuck you, we're doing this one. It's my house. You know, I miss the whole thing of it because. And it's just not there. And the other thing, and maybe because I'm old enough to tell people get off my lawn now that I actually have a lawn, ish, is it's just the modern times and it's not as fun. Not only do I think some of the movies aren't as good, but the idea of just sitting on my couch flipping forever through Netflix isn't as fun to me because if I watch something and in 10 minutes I don't like it, I don't fucking continue it. If you said I would do that 25 years ago, I would have told you to kiss my ass because that cost me $4.75.
I would have had you shot if you even implied that I wasn't going to finish that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Me and James were the same. I'm sure James still fucking finishes everything because he's a glutton for punishment.
No,
James.
There's been a few I've turned off.
James is what we use. James is
gotten to that point.
James is the movie masochist. James will watch movies that everybody else will give up on. Just so at the end of it he can say fuck you, I watched it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly his attitude. So the fact that he's even gotten to a place where like, nah, I'm done, I'm bored, I'm going on to something else.
There's been at least 3 times on either Netflix or Amazon I'm watching something and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I turn it off.
And
that's amazing.
I know, isn't it?
and the best part about James watching it is he's miserable watching it. Well, you know, we're usually off having fun gallivanting. He's like, motherfucker, I'm gonna finish this goddamn thing. And then you ask him how was it? It's like, oh, I liked it. It's like bullshit. You're grinning.
But you know, like that's the thing that I also miss as well, is the fact that I mean, you went out, you rented it, you finish it. That was the mentality at the time. And, you know, and I'll admit this to both of you, is I have thought about this for a long time, is if it wasn't a guaranteed failure at this point, I would open my own damn movie store.
Oh, hell
and it would be all the shit that I want to watch, not the shit that you want to watch.
Right.
No,
I'm curating here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get to borrow this shit and I'll let you pay me for it, but this is a curation.
And you know what's in my freaking glass case? The Mr. Pink edition of Reservoir Dogs. Fuck you, you're not touching that.
So before my local Dimple closed, Dimple in Northern California was basically this place, sell DVDs, books, and yada yada. The owner, just look it up. And so I found a copy of Mr. Pink, of the Mr. Pink edition. I've been looking for it forever. I had to say no, because I already have 2 fucking copies of Reservoir Dogs. I do not need a third. And by the way, before you judge, yes, I have 3 copies. Fuck you. Some of the stuff I have multiple copies of is actually rare.
Yeah. I've got the rare one of Fifth Element on the can't think of the name of it.
It's supposed to be that high quality DVDs.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I have that one.
So they came out.
Remember
is it Superbit?
I think it was like Superbit. I think it was.
They had these before Blu-rays came out. They had these high fidelity version of DVDs.
Yep.
And for some reason, in my genius and my holy crap, I didn't realize we were far over.
Yeah, we're quite
in my zeal for watching movies, I bought heavy metal on this high quality, over expensive DVD, and I brought it home and thinking, oh, this is going to look like the VHS copy I watched a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but I have I think it's Desperado and the Fifth Element on those.
I think I have the first version of Resident Evil on that. The other thing I miss the same thing with records and CDs and music. I miss the ephemera. I miss the store. One of the things I was legitimately looking to do was take my son into like Dimple Records or Rasputin Records if you're in the Bay Area or whatever, and take my son there and say, this is my hangout spot.
Yeah. I
wanted to show my son the things I enjoy. And I still have all my movies. Granted, I don't have enough time to watch it, but it's still, it's the experience I'll never get to share. And I think that sucks.
I think what's going to be great, man, is that when we're older, it's going to be a bunch of people who feel the same way as us. You know what I mean? Who probably started some little mom and pop, more like what James was talking about, like this curation, almost like a museum.
Yeah.
You know, to that old thing that's going to be, you know, way more. Like I said, I get curated would be the best word for it. I mean, just these monuments to that old era, you know, because people wanted to share it or have this. Collecting is always going to be a thing.
You know what the funniest thing is? It's probably all going to be VHS tapes.
Sure.
Because cassette tapes are making a comeback.
Oh God.
So the only thing.
Man, I wish I would have hung on to my fucking VHS.
So the only thing
I had hundreds of fucking tapes, man.
Before we close out, and I really don't know if anybody listens to this. So the only thing I can recommend is if you have kids and there's experience that you enjoy and it's still around, take your kid to fucking do it. Because Saturday night movie time or Friday night going to the store was legitimately a part of my childhood that I literally couldn't wait. Monday fucking morning, I'm like, I got 4 motherfucking days until I can rent a movie. Was literally what I thought. I can't do that. I know everybody's saying, well, you've got Apple TV, you've got Amazon. Not the same. Not to me. Not somebody who spent not somebody like me who literally spent my childhood going, there's A, start there. By the way, you can watch some really shitty movies that way. Ask me how I know.
Anyways, yeah.
So I just want to say shout out, you know, if you have something you enjoy and it's still around, take your kids to it. Let them share their experience, because once it's gone, man, it's gone. It ain't never come back.
Yeah.
So
it's sad.
Anybody else have anything to say before we wrap this hayride up?
Nope.
Ryan?
Negative.
You got to have an opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California Pride, for the Fat Man and Ryan Preston, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.